For years, one question has haunted fans of The Lion King. Who is Kovu's real father? Was he just some random lion that Zira chose to be the sire of her cub? Or is the truth far darker and more shocking than we ever imagined? Today, we're opening this forbidden file. We're diving into hidden clues, whispers, and moments the movie never explained, to reach a theory that could change everything we thought we knew about Kovu's story. But remember, the final answer won't come until the end, and what you're about to hear might just make you watch the movie again with completely different eyes. Before we get lost in the details, let's start with the core idea of this theory. Some fans believe that Kovu wasn't just another cub born during Scar's reign. Instead, he might have been connected directly to the Dark King himself. Yes, what if Kovu was actually Scar's son? At first, that sounds crazy, maybe even unbelievable. But when you take a closer look at Zira's actions and at how Kovu's story ties back to the Pride Lands, you'll notice patterns that form a much clearer picture. Could Scar have secretly planned to leave behind an heir? Someone to carry his bloodline and reclaim the throne after his downfall? And was Zira simply the vessel chosen to make that plan real? Or is there something even more twisted hiding beneath the surface? Let's start with Zira herself. In The Lion King 2, she isn't just loyal to Scar. She's obsessed with him. Her entire existence seems to revolve around his memory, even after his death. That kind of loyalty feels less like politics, and more like something personal, intimate even. Some fans believe her devotion wasn't just about following a fallen king, but about being his partner. And if that's true, then it makes perfect sense that Kovu could be the hidden child of Scar, the heir destined to continue his legacy. But where's the proof? The first clue comes from Zira's words to Simba when Kovu is captured. Simba questions Kovu's origins, and Zira insists that Kovu was chosen by Scar himself. Chosen? That sounds suspicious. Why would Scar pick a random cub with no blood connection to inherit his legacy? Why not one of the hyenas, or another lion entirely? Why Kovu? Unless Scar had a far more personal reason? Then comes the resemblance. Look closely. Kovu doesn't look much like Zira at all. Instead, his dark mane, sharp eyes, and sly expressions echo Scar in eerie ways. Maybe it's just character design. But fans know Disney loves planting subtle hints. Could it really be a coincidence that Kovu carries Scar's shadow in his very face? And then, there's how Zira treats him. Unlike her other cubs, Nuka and Vitani, Kovu is singled out. She places all her hopes on him, drills into him the idea that he will restore Scar's glory. Why not Vitani? Why not Nuka? Why only Kovu? The most logical explanation, Kovu is different. He isn't just another child. He carries Scar's blood. But let's pause here. Could this all just be overthinking? Maybe Zira chose Kovu simply because he was young, easy to shape, and mold into Scar's successor. That's possible. Still, the movie keeps his father's identity hidden. Why leave such a major detail so vague, unless the filmmakers wanted fans to question it? Sometimes the silence is the biggest clue. Think back to Zira's expressions when she talks about Scar. There's a glimmer in her eyes, not just of hatred for Simba, but something softer, almost longing. That tiny spark has fueled endless theories. Was Scar more than just her king? Did she love him? If she did, then the idea of them having a child together doesn't sound so impossible after all. But here's the real twist. If Kovu was Scar's son, why didn't Disney just say it outright? Maybe because they wanted to keep the story clean for younger audiences. Or maybe they wanted to leave that door open for fans to speculate, to wonder, to debate for decades. And that's exactly what's happened. Now imagine this. If Simba knew the truth, how would he react? Could he ever accept the son of his uncle's killer? Or would he have condemned Kovu from the very start? This thought alone opens the door to a whole alternate storyline. A darker what-if world where alliances shift, destinies change, and Kovu's identity threatens to destroy everything. But before we step fully into that alternate reality, we still have more evidence to uncover, hidden details that might finally expose the truth about Kovu's bloodline. Now, let's turn to the hidden clues most people never noticed. Remember the scene after Kovu saves Kiara from the fire? Simba looks at him with something more than suspicion. It's as if, in Kovu's eyes, he sees a ghost from his past. That look wasn't just caution, it was recognition. Simba, who had fought his Uncle Scar in a battle for life and death, couldn't ignore even the faintest resemblance. Which raises a painful question. Deep down, did Simba already suspect that Kovu carried Scar's blood? And if he did, is that why it was so hard for him to accept Kovu as Kiara's future mate? And then there are the hyenas. After Scar's death, they practically vanish from the story. Strange, isn't it? Because the moment Kovu appears, chaos reignites, almost as if Scar's presence had returned. If Disney had confirmed that Kovu was Scar's son, the hyenas would have been unavoidable. They were Scar's allies, his witnesses. Their absence feels deliberate, as if the movie wanted to keep the mystery wrapped tightly around Kovu alone. But here's an even sharper detail: his name. Kovu in Swahili means Scar, a direct link to Scar's identity. Think about it. Why would Zira give her cub a name that so clearly echoes the fallen king? Coincidence? Or her not-so-subtle way of telling the world who Kovu really was? Sometimes a name says more than any family tree. Now let's step into the world of what if. Imagine a hidden backstory, one we never saw on screen. Picture Scar in his final days, realizing his throne was crumbling. Instead of surrendering to fate, he created a plan, a secret heir. He turned to Zira, his most loyal follower, and told her the future of the Pride Lands depended on one cub. That cub was Kovu. Born in the shadows, raised as more than just a lion, raised as a legacy. Under Zira's fierce gaze, Kovu grew up with whispers of his father's greatness, the unfinished plans, the destiny waiting for him. Each night he was reminded, "You're not just any lion, you are the son of a king." And when Scar died, his dream didn't die with him. It was passed down to Kovu, a heavy crown for a cub too young to carry. This explains why Kovu was always torn, between loyalty to Zira's vision and his love for Kiara. He was trapped between two worlds, the blood of Scar and the kingdom built by Mufasa. Now imagine the breaking point, a moment where Simba confronts him, his voice full of anger. "You're Scar's son. How dare you come near my daughter?" That revelation would crush almost anyone. But Kovu doesn't fall apart. Instead, he lifts his head and says, "Yes, I'm Scar's son. But I am not Scar. My blood doesn't define me." That one line flips the story on its head. Suddenly, it's not about lineage. It's about identity. Can Kovu free himself from his father's shadow? Or will he always be chained to Scar's name? And then comes the twist. Kiara. Against her father's rage, against Zira's demands for vengeance, she chooses to stand by Kovu. Picture the scene. Simba furious, Zira screaming for revenge, the pride watching in silence. And Kovu, right in the storm, declares, "I won't be Scar. I won't be anyone's puppet. I'll decide my own destiny." That's the turning point. That's when Kovu stops being just a mysterious cub and becomes something greater, a symbol of breaking free from the past. And that's the brilliance of this theory. Whether or not Kovu was really Scar's son almost doesn't matter. What matters is his choice. Disney, as clever as ever, left the mystery unsolved, so that we would keep asking, keep wondering, keep debating. Was he Scar's child, or just Zira's chosen pawn? The truth is hidden. And that's exactly why Kovu's story feels so powerful. In the end, it all comes down to this. Kovu isn't just a lion looking for his place. He's the living reflection of the eternal struggle between blood and free will, between the weight of the past and the hope of the future. Maybe that was Disney's goal all along, to leave us with a riddle we'd never stop talking about. But here's the real question we have to leave open. If Kovu really was Scar's son, could there be another? A hidden brother or sister still waiting in the shadows? A secret heir to Scar's dark legacy, ready to rise when the time is right? That could change everything we know about the Pride Lands. And maybe, just maybe, that's a story for another time.